I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ears, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Hello, everybody. Lady Cheryl here, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I'm here with 3 of my grand angels, and as promised, I'm going to share with you how and why I grow comfrey, and now I don't have to buy any fertilizer whatsoever. So let's get started. Everybody, is Monday morning, and my 3 grand angels are here. And first we have, what's your name? And Madeline, we call her Sweet Maddie. Anyway, guys, we're getting ready to propagate all through here a lot of this comfrey. You see all the sea of comfrey we have in here, guys? We're getting ready to propagate it and root it for you guys so I can send it to you. Okay, Maddie, what was your question?
Pick it up?
Yeah, propagate means pick it up and divide it. Take the shovel. Let me go in close, and you can see I got down in there real deep. And then I'm going to scoop it up, and I'll let Brian, see how it's coming up? Pull it out, Brian. Take 2 hands and pull it. Good job. Pull it all the way out. Very good. So now, all you need, guys, is a piece about 1 inch or less, or more, of this comfrey, and we will root it. So we're going to take all of the good leaves and we'll make comfrey tea out of it. So Maddie and Brian and Bria are helping me. Thanks, Maddie. I want you to hold all the cuttings.
Okay, so
Put that over there, next to the fence.
the fence, that fencing outside.
And we got to get 50 pieces. Come on, throw it right there. So now, guys, Brian and I just pulled out another piece. Look how deep this tap root was in the ground. This is why comfrey is such a good fertilizer. That was all the way in the ground, about 2 feet. So every piece of it will be rooted. Okay, so we have a assembly line going. I misspoke. I said the root was about 2 feet long, but it was actually 3 feet. And this is why comfrey has a lot of nutrients, because it can go deep into the earth and pull up nutrients that other plants and trees can't. Now, a lot of trees can go real deep, but if you look closely at this area, I don't have a lot of trees around there. So those nutrients are being pulled up and sucked into the roots of the comfrey. Where Brian and I digging up the comfrey, Brian passes it on to Maddie. Go ahead, Maddie. Come and get your root. Maddie takes off the leaves, and then she gives it to Bria. So we're not working hard. We're working what, guys?
Teamwork. Together.
Together.
We're doing teamwork.
Teamwork. We're working smart. And you're going to keep that, because we're going to take all those leaves and we're going to make comfrey tea. Okay. Let's let you see what we have left. This is pawpaw tree going into dormancy. So all of this is comfrey, and we pulled up all over here. That's compost with a lot of comfrey, and we'll make tea out of it. And we have this area right here. Okay. All of the vacant spots that you see where we pulled up the comfrey, some of the roots are still there in the soil, and they will continue to root and to grow. Comfrey can be considered invasive. So when you propagate your comfrey, don't worry about if you see bare spots, because we're still going to have, come spring, a sea of comfrey in this area. I was looking at the video that I shot, and I noticed I didn't show enough of how I'm breaking up the Comfrey. Okay, you see this piece right here clearly has, you know, some roots. I'm going to divide it into 4 pieces with my knife. I can't do it one-handed, but I'll come back and I'll show you how. This piece will be 4 different cuttings. Please remember, when you're dividing and propagating your comfrey, you don't have to have a large piece. I can actually cut this piece right here into another piece, but I won't. I'm gonna stick it in the ground because I need some other comfrey growing in my food forest. But this is 2 pieces, and I'll put them right here. This came off of it as well. I can cut this in half and have another piece. I think I will. So that's 3, 4, 5. Okay? So I'm going to cut this one again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cut this in half. Let me see if I can do it on camera. With one hand. There we go. So there'll be a piece. There a piece. Actually, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to cut it again. That's all you need. Okay? Now I'm going to take you over here and show you how some of the cuttings are coming along. See, they're springing up, little leaves. And I have more down there. Okay. I'll be sending out a lot of comfrey in a couple months. I have some growing right here in this container with the Miho Satsuma. And it's turning colors. We'll be eating this fruit real soon. Okay, now, let me show you something. Here is a bed with 2 pear trees. You see that comfrey growing? I transplanted it by just putting a little piece like this in it. One over there, one over there. Now, and there's some right here. Now I'm just going to take a little bitty piece and I'm going to put it right over there in that corner. In fact, it has already traveled. Look here, guys. This is comfrey. Traveling underground from this big piece right here. Actually, it was a little bitty piece. So I'm going to move this out the way. And this is my Asian pear. And I'm going to just dig me a little place up that's free. Right there. See some roots there, but that's okay. I'm just going to put this little bitty piece right here. And I'm just going to cover it up. Okay? And eventually, this whole raised garden bed will have comfrey growing. I'm going to take you to another area in the food forest where I have comfrey planted close to a tree so I can just chop and drop. This is where my mulberry tree and plum tree, wild plum tree, as you can see, it's fall and the leaves are dropping. But over here, last spring, I put a few pieces of comfrey over here, directly in the ground. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this little piece right here. I'm going to get away from these leaves, these branches. And while I'm here, I'm going to pull up these weeds. Told you get a good workout in the garden doing squats. I'll leave the rest of them. I'll let Brian and Maria get them. But I'm going to take this piece of comfrey, this little small piece, and I'm just going to put it right here. And the soil is moist. Where'd it go? Right there. Cover it up. Just a little piece sticking up. I'll take a little twig or something, put it right here to remind me. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more pieces. I'm going to show you where they're going. Here is my brown turkey fig tree. Huge. This whole branch right here is going to be cut off. And I want you to follow it, and you'll see that on this big branch, I have an air layer here, an air layer here, and an air layer back there. This branch just grew like this over the spring and summer, and it's leaning into the pear trees. So I'm gonna get rid of it. But before I do, I'm gonna make a tree for each one of my 3 adult children. They're homeowners, so they can plant them in their backyard. Over here, I'm gonna put it, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it right here. This is a perfect marker. This is a galvanized pipe that I usually have my morning glories growing around. I'm gonna take this knife and I'm gonna loosen up that soil. Getting those wood chips real good. Put this little piece of root down there. It looks like I probably have some comfrey growing there anyway. The wood chips are right down. And I'm going to take this little pan of rainwater and water it in. Okay. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go plant them. Here we are with 3 stone fruit. We have a Sunglow nectarine, losing its leaves, and 2 dwarf Red Haven peach. 1 there, and then 1 right there in the middle. I'm gonna put about 3 pieces of comfrey here. Okay, so let's get in there and loosen up the soil. And I'm gonna do 1, 2. I think 2 is enough. Cover it up, and I'll remember to water it. And I'll put me a stick right here to remind me to water that. Okay, I got 1 more piece. I think I put it over there between those 2 cherry trees. Here are the 2 cherry trees. One's a Rainier, and I think the other one is a Windsor Sweet. I'm gonna come right down here in the middle, dig me a little spot. See that? Okay, and there is my comfrey. And I'll just cover it up. Find me a stick. A little marker. Make sure I hit it with a little water right there. Okay, I'm gonna take you in the food forest and show you some other areas where I previously planted. Okay guys, I'm deep into the food forest. As you can see here, I planted some comfrey here last spring, and over there, and all around this pecan tree. All around in here. That's the chop and the drop comfrey I'll be making fertilizer out of, and I still have a big area right in here. Before it's over with, I'm gonna have comfrey all over my food forest. Now I'm gonna put in the description box links to all the videos that I have on comfrey and why it is so important for me to propagate comfrey. You see, I used to buy a lot of fertilizers, organic fertilizers. I don't have to do that anymore. All I do now is chop and drop comfrey. I also make comfrey tea, as well as compost tea, weed tea, remnants of plants tea. And another thing I do is I emulsify my banana peels, coffee grounds, used coffee grounds that is, and eggshells. I used to constantly buy organic fertilizers. Now, I don't have to do that anymore. And I want to stress to you guys that you can do the same thing that I'm doing. You can save a lot of money on purchasing fertilizers, even the ones that are on sale. You don't need them once you build up your soil. But you've got to build up your soil first. And then you won't be dependent on adding things to your soil that you have to purchase. What's so wonderful about comfrey is this. It contains the perfect nutrients, the perfect combination of NPK, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And it also has a lot of other trace elements that is very good for the soil. And together, all of these trace elements outperforms manure, compost, or any liquid feed that you can purchase because these nutrients come from deep within the earth that most plants, as I said previously, don't have access to. So, grow comfrey, folks. You will save a lot of money. Now I'm going to show you that little Charlie brown turkey big tree. Get a better look at how skinny this little twig was. I put it in this little pot with some new potting soil, and eventually it'll go into this bigger pot. Okay, but it's only 2.5 feet high. It will go in the greenhouse the first year during the winter because I don't trust it out here in freezing temps. And you can see it's still alive because it's getting ready to put on some leaves. Okay, this is my perennial flower area in the food forest. Those are Mexican petunias. They're on their last legs surrounding this pear tree. And over here, I thought I dug up all of the echinacea that was getting ready to bloom and brought it in the greenhouse, but I just see that little beautiful flower there. Isn't that pretty? I wasn't expecting that. So, yeah. I'm going to be digging up some echinacea roots soon to make tincture. I'll make a video and share that with you. And all of this right here, these seeds that you see spent, I'm not going to collect them. Just let them drop where they want to, and they will produce more cone flowers, echinacea, next year. Same thing I did to the echinacea and my comfrey. I also do with my society garlic. I put them in a few pots because I'm going to bring them in the greenhouse. They can take a cold freeze, but I want to keep them in the greenhouse and then transplant them in the ground close to fruit trees. So there's one right here. Here's one here by this pawpaw tree. I have another container right here. And they will deter sometimes the squirrels from eating your fruit. And if you didn't know, if you're new to my channel, I want to share these mimosa trees with you. It's 2 of them. I grew these from seed, and the leaves and the flowers are edible. I'll talk about that in another video, but that was 1, 2, 3 containers of society garlic. Here's another one with some weeds. I'll clean that out. That's 4. Here's one right here with weeds as well. That's 5. One over there, 6. One over there, 7. So I keep propagating my perennials. Okay? All right. You see how beautiful my marigolds are. I got them out of a garden bed that used to be right here before I put these elevated grow boxes, and I just scooped the root ball up and planted them here. And I saw Stacy from Hands in the Dirt saying that people like to criticize us. But when you know what you're doing, guys, you know what you're doing. As long as you leave that root ball intact, certain plants, you can move them. It's no different than buying transplants at a nursery. So it's a blessing that I have these marigolds here that I moved from another garden bed. Okay? Plenty of marigolds. And that pop of color, let me go back out. That pop of color is so pretty up against these greens. And so while I'm showing you the greens, let me go ahead and let you see I've got peas over here and cabbage. This is forming ahead. It's going to be cabbage, curly mustards, Swiss chard, collard greens, beautiful mustard and kale. I mean, just gorgeous. Big leaves. I'll be cooking up some greens. All of these greens are just going to be picked, washed, and cooked when I want them, and my friends can come over and I'll help them harvest some. I don't need to hoard any more greens because I'm still eating greens from 2020. I haven't touched the greens that I canned in 2021. Look at this garden bed. You remember Bria and I killing the cabbage worms when the babies were young? I see a few holes, but nothing serious. I mean, they are growing beautifully. Beautiful. Look at those red mustards surrounded by those zinnias. Just gorgeous. And here is the daikon. No, that's not daikon. That's called chicory. Chicory. Google it and you'll see the medicinal purposes. I may put something on the screen. I got that from Dan's Permaculture Food Forest. I planted those last year. They survived a 3-degree temperature and they're back stronger than ever. Right here are 2 containers of gooseberries. They will be going inside of the greenhouse, as well as right behind it in the green container, Mexican petunias. I didn't really mean to show this much today, but since I'm out here, let me share this with you. The 2 elevated raised garden beds, latest to my collection, are just gorgeous. I am not bragging on me. I'm bragging or boasting about how miraculously God created everything. He did this. I'm just a steward over this. It is God and God alone that created all this beauty, all of this good medicine, all of these groceries right out of my backyard. I am just so forever thankful. Look at this, guys. This is that pak choi. Isn't that beautiful? That's a beautiful plant. Such a pretty plant. Trying to see if any worms or anything on there. Probably was, but I think when I sprayed with the neem oil, I got it. Here's another pak choi. It's either bok choy, pak choy. It's a lot of cat soy, but it's a Chinese brassica. Beautiful, just beautiful. I am so blessed and just so truly thankful for everything. This is a gorilla cart that just got too big, the large gorilla cart. Too big for me to roll around in the food forest, so I just made an elevated raised garden bed. Flipped it over, drilled some holes, and I was good to go. Here are some marigolds, French marigolds, real small ones, that self-seeded. I dug them up and put them where I strategically wanted them. And just beautiful. Sage is still coming back. And the rosemary, I need to get in here, prune a little bit of the dying. There you go. Still smells gorgeous. And we have some carrots, some Japanese parsley. I did put a few labels on some stuff, but not a lot. Okay? And I know that's carrot. That's a carrot. Here's a carrot. You get a car. You get a car. No, just kidding. I'm going to, instead of breaking down the water feature, I'm just going to pick it up and move it and put it in the greenhouse. I think I got enough room. I am out in the greenhouse this morning, Thursday morning, because there was a big storm last night with high winds. And I just wanted to check everything out. And you can see the comfrey, guys, that I'm going to be sending you all is rooting very well. And I know that I didn't have to root this. I could have just sent you the pieces. But I don't know, guys. The mothering instincts in me just compelled me to root it for you. And so that's what I'm doing. I want you to see how wonderful my tomato plants are doing. I know some people can't grow tomatoes in the fall and the winter, but I can because of the greenhouse. And let me show you. The winds was real high. I just lifted up the panel just right there in the center, and you can see that chair was inside the greenhouse, but it was picked up. But I don't leave the greenhouse shut up unless temperatures are going to be 40 degrees or below, because there's so much condensation. See that? You can get too much humidity, which will create the perfect environment for a fungus. And throughout the years, I've just learned how to combat that by keeping it as dry in here as I possibly can. Yeah, the tomatoes, we will have tomatoes for Christmas. I'm running a little bit behind than I normally do, because usually I have tomatoes for Thanksgiving. But it's okay. I still have room over here to get around and to put my gooseberries a couple bushes I'm going to put in here right along this pathway. And then I'm going to show you something. You see this area right here where I shortened the bed? I have bricks in the front of the greenhouse that I'm going to brick this floor in. That'll keep it drier. And I just want to show you that the beans are flowering now, putting on flowers, beautiful lettuce. So we're going to have fun. Another thing I want to share with you is there's been some type of animal in here, because you can see the indentation right here, probably a squirrel. But the good news is, you see that? I'll go closer. Those are my saffron bulbs. Yeah, right here, something was messing with it. See them close up? Yeah, I'm going to have saffron here. Something was digging in here. You can see the indentation right around here, but that's okay. We got bulbs coming up here, all in here. Something was digging around in here, but at least they didn't eat the bulbs. Not yet. Pretty soon the greenhouse will be shut up, so, you know. I'm going to water these a little bit. The brown turkey fig trees, little saplings are doing really well. I'm going to separate them soon. I'm a little bit behind because I had a lot of orders for my products. I still didn't get these two trees, a improved Meyer lemon and a Pomelo grapefruit. I'm going to get them in carts just like this sometime today or tomorrow, and show you we have more beans getting ready to produce. Beautiful lettuce, beautiful celery right in here. Celery for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Beautiful mustard greens, mustard spinach growing here. Basil, a lot of beets and carrots. Mustard's going over there. Growing over there, more mustards, more beans here. That pretty little bitty flower. And I just love the progress. A lot of carrots in here and a stray seed. I don't know what this is. It kind of looks like a morning glory, but then this heart-shaped leaf is a little bit different. And there's a seed popped up over here. I'm just going to let it grow. And the bay laurel is doing absolutely wonderful since I moved it out of the heat and put it into the greenhouse. Got a lot of peppers that I can harvest. Beautiful jalapenos. Sweet peppers over there. More sweet peppers. Everything is looking really well. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this video up, I think, and get some work done. Here are all the bricks that I'm gonna put. Let me pan around again and show you. I hope I'm not going too fast. Right over there where you see that cardboard down there, I'm gonna brick that floor in. That way I can bring more trees inside. But for those of you that I gifted some comfrey, I want you to know that it's routine. Those of you that bought some, I know you're anxious, and I'll be emailing you soon to find out when you want me to ship yours, because some of you live in different climates, and there's some more down there. Okay, and I even have some over here. Look at the Miho Satsuma. Now guys, remember, this is the tree that was in here last winter, February the 3rd, when it got down to 3 degrees. I usually will have harvested my Miho Satsumas by now, and we usually get more, but this tree almost died, and I was able to nurse it back to health. And there's a little garlic growing in there too, with the marigolds to try to repel insects. Okie dokie, just wanted to share everything that's going on in the greenhouse. Remember, check me out on Monday nights and check out my natural skin and hair care line at LadyCherylsNaturalProducts.com. Bye now. Go your own, eat your own. It's not hard, you can do it. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for watching. See you real soon.